Hello. So we have a very emotional weekend, and that doesn't mean good emotions or bad emotions. I think overall it's definitely favoring positive emotions, but I think some people are going to be feeling maybe a little bit in a funk, and if so, there's a solution for that with the energies that are going on right now, or rather, there's a very likely cause of that, and then understanding that cause, working that with that cause, can help you to probably feel better. So and by the way, if you're feeling pretty good and you feel like, cool, I'm in touch with my subconscious at this time, I'm in touch with other people's emotions at this time, awesome. We'll cover the good parts of this as well. But this challenge is always good for, it's always good for all of us to look at both what's naturally really nice and easy to work with, and also some potential challenges, because otherwise, it's a blind spot. So we always want to keep these things in mind. Sorry, I totally forgot. By the way, for this upcoming week, I still have some availability for readings. So if you want to come get a reading, come get a reading. Always a great time to get a reading if you feel inspired to come get one. And we can talk about whatever, love life or life purpose, challenges you're going through, or past, or excitement and goals and future, whatever. That's what I'm here for. Info to book a reading is in the description of this video and every video. You can go to my website, and there's the different reading formats that I offer. I'm happy to read for anybody, so don't be shy if you feel inspired to come get a reading. It's all good. I don't bite. I'm always nice. It's all cool. So yeah, but I think that there's one key thing here, and we've talked about this recently, and I think it's going to keep coming up in conversation, especially over the next week or so, is transiting Mars is in Taurus. It's directly conjunct transiting Uranus in Taurus. So what does this mean? It means that for all of us, this is a pretty big reality check. Okay, am I, excuse me, am I stuck in a rut and I need to find a way to break myself out of this rut, right? Or am I moving practically towards my goals slowly but surely, one step at a time? Maybe sometimes not even so slowly, but definitely surely, just keep moving forward. And there's really nothing ultimately in astrology. I like to say, there's no dead ends. So if we are experiencing more so the former, where we're feeling stuck in a rut, we feel defeated, we feel frustrated, we feel angry, even any of these things or all of these things, there's always solutions. So we need to have that mindset first and foremost. I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges here, is to get stuck in the mindset of defeatism, of going in circles with something, because the big challenge here for this weekend, and again, there's so much good stuff, we'll get into that, but I think this is the major challenge, that if people work with this challenge, amazing weekend, and we'll get into that. But finishing the challenge part, because we have so much water energy, so much emotion. So this is, whenever the moon is in Pisces, it's a time for us to look at, okay, how connected to my subconscious am I? If overall, over the course of the month, we are honoring our emotions, our feelings, we're able to understand and verbalize, or at least, verbalize in our minds, if not talking to other people about our feelings, but to understand, this is what I'm feeling, this is why I'm feeling this way. Okay, and this goes for all kinds of emotions on the spectrum. If we're feeling sad or angry, or something more on the negative side, that's okay. That's part of life. But to understand it and to be able to move through it, that's a whole other step beyond feeling the emotion, right? And even the good stuff, right? To understand the cause of the good stuff and how to keep going in that direction with that good stuff and keep growing with that good stuff, right? That too, we have to verbalize and whatnot. So I think for this weekend, we all are having that monthly check with Pisces, and I think it's all the more so with our Sun and Mercury in Cancer transit, which are directly conjunct, by the way, Sun and Mercury in Cancer. So for all of us, this is a pretty big time of, where am I with my emotions, right? How am I handling my emotions? What emotional habits? A lot of it isn't just our connection to our subconscious right now and even over the recent past. A lot of it has to do with far distant past. So be mindful of that, right? Sun and Mercury in Cancer. Cancer is about the past. It's about childhood in many ways. It's about our history. So we really need to be mindful of any kind of emotional habits that we're experiencing. And this has to do with everything of what we're thinking, what we're doing physically or not doing physically. I think that's actually a pretty big one, is if you're in a funk, go for a walk. Go work out responsibly. Don't injure yourself. Don't let your emotions guide you. Get into your body, feel your body. Meditate if need be. Honestly, I think meditation is usually more for air transits. Meditation is great for any transit, let me be clear. But I think really with we're targeting the Earth here. We're targeting that Mars and Taurus here. We want to get in the body. We want to be practical. We want to do things, just as a parallel, I just came away from playing like 2.5 hours of drums. I feel fantastic. I recently experienced an injury where I realized I needed to do more yoga because the last time, about 8 days ago, I played drums. This is always relevant, by the way. I'm not just trying to go on about me. This is relevant to what we're talking about. I'll get to the point though. So about 8 days ago or something like that, I basically, I haven't been stretching enough. I haven't been doing yoga. I do a little bit of stretching here and there. I actually do. Well, I haven't been doing enough stretching though. Even though I do stretching pretty regularly, I realize, okay, I need to take it to the next level because especially for me in my drumming style, I am playing the shit out of the drums. So I need to be limber. I need to, relax and be in my body and let everything nice and flowing. I can't have things too tightened up. I also started doing an exercise regimen recently where I started doing pull-ups again. And so I was pushing my body too hard. So, and this is actually always happening with Mars and Taurus transits. So instead of getting upset about it, instead of getting down, even though I really wanted to go and play drums over the last 9 days, I just said, okay, I'm injured. First of all, let's heal the injury, right? Let's be practical, Mars and Taurus, right? Let's be practical. Okay, I got to heal the injury, and also what lifestyle changes do I need to make? Now, I could be all upset and go, or I can just say, okay, like it or not, this is what's going on. Feeling down about it. I mean, it's okay to feel down about things, of course, but at some point we got to take action, right? At what point, it's up to each one of us to figure out, at what point, are we done just feeling, maybe crying or just like feeling down. And again, all that, to each our own. It's all good. That can be part of the process too. But at some point we got to get to this part, which is the cool. What are we going to do? What are we going to do about it? How are we going to make our lives better? How do we honor our self-agency as conscious beings, as many beings of many gods and goddesses, right? And creator beings, conscious beings who can always influence our lives. Even if we can't control it, we can influence it. And basically, as if we are controlling it in a way, because we guide it so effectively. What are we going to do about it, right? So what did I do over the last 9 days? I just stretched. I stretched, and then I went in today, and I did 40 minutes of yoga beforehand. I stretched a lot yesterday to prepare for today. And I've done like an hour stretching each day, and I feel great. No injuries. Even the injuries pretty much healed at this point. I learned my lesson, and we're moving forward. If I let my emotions get in the way, especially like this weekend, if I hadn't done the prep work for earlier, and I just was like, I'm frustrated. Again, emotion isn't even a verbal thing. It's just a right. The negative thing. Emotion can also be right, in a positive way, but. If I wouldn't have been practical and just handling it one step at a time, being patient, however long needed, even though it took longer than I expected or wanted for the healing, I'm good though. And now what can I do? I can go play drums, and I'm nice and limber more than I ever was before. So if you're in, my point with all of this is this: if you're stuck in a rut, focus on what you can do and be practical with it, and just go do that. Be patient. Follow through. Don't let emotions, don't get caught in this part of it. At some point you got to get to this part, which is cool. What are we gonna do? What's in our control? How do we move forward? So okay, I think we covered the challenges quite adequately. The positive part of all this is to be incredibly emotionally available to ourselves, with other people, connecting with loved ones. And here too, I think that it's really good to be mindful, because even if you're in a really good place emotionally, it doesn't, if somebody around you, especially a loved one that you really care about, is not in a good place because they're struggling with, like I said before, not handling things practically, or being very grounded, or just getting stuck in their emotional negativity and those habits, don't judge them. Don't be around them too much. Set those boundaries, right? And just focus on, well, okay, that's them. For me, how am I feeling overall? Like, okay, cool, I have my goals, I'm moving forward, etc., etc. That'll help a lot. And I really can't say it enough. There's no need to be superstitious about it, but if you're around somebody who's really negative emotionally a lot this weekend, it'll be very difficult for it to not influence you. At the very least, it's going to kind of take away the headway, the highest of highs emotionally that you could experience. Again, if you're around them a lot, if you're around them a little bit, whatever, just flow on through, it's all good. But this is a very sensitive weekend, so we want to be mindful of that. And I think that also has to do with kind of going out. This is more a weekend of chilling. When Moon is in Sagittarius, like last weekend, awesome, let's go out, let's have fun. Moon's in Pisces, I mean, to each our own, right? It can be a great weekend to go out still, but this is more a weekend of introspection, kind of going into our own worlds, listening to our favorite music, watching films, playing our favorite video games with our favorite loved ones who are in a reasonably good space emotionally, and then just making sure that we stay clear about how we're feeling and letting other people go through whatever it is emotionally that they're processing. I think that's going to be the best way to handle this. And again, if somebody's really going through something this weekend, then they should really talk to somebody about that. And if you can talk to them about it, beautiful, great. But if not, if you can steer them in the direction of somebody to talk to, whether a professional to work through these emotional habits, or somebody else, another loved one or something. But I can't say it enough. Resist the urge to project and to try and control how other people are feeling, because ultimately everybody's going through their own emotional processing all the time. Just focus on your own well-being, and if you're doing that and you're really being practical with things, then you're handling stuff, you're moving forward, it's all good. Yeah. Infinite love to you, my friends. Namaste. Peace. One last thing I want to say is Jupiter is in Aries. Of course, it'll still be in Aries for basically the vast majority of the next year. Be excited about that. Focus on what is growing in your life, what the new opportunities that you're excited about for this year, but also over the next 12 years. We are at the beginning of this 12-year cycle. So enjoy that, and find that sweet spot between the past with all this Cancer energy and the future with all this Jupiter and Aries energy. I think when you pay attention to the past and honor the past and be consciously aware of the past, but you're still moving forward now and into the future with your dreams, that's the best way to make use of this energy in general, and especially this weekend. Peace.